G'day guys, welcome back to the channel. It's Enno here from Fantasy Take TV. Today we'll be going over the round 3 review. The old Easter weekend round was good. Tiggs got a good win, which was nice. Didn't really expect that, I'll be honest. But was a really good performance from the boys, and happy for Uze to get his first win. Was at the game yesterday with the Dare to Hope for Harry, and like a president's function. I think it's the third year we've had now of that, which is good to raise money for pancreatic cancer. So that was good. Weird game in the end, especially with the obviously the lightning and the delays and all that. But some interesting stuff out of this weekend. My score, not good. Funny, I still went up in rank with an 1848, which goes to show probably how many teams that were sort of doing well to start the year, had Tom Green, which I do, but probably also a Flanders and maybe even a Took as well. So a few premiums on buy, which meant a score that was pretty poor. And it's not, overly poor. I think, if you scored 1900 plus, it probably would have been pretty okay, but no Gorn obviously in my team, which we'll get to. Was the big one. Last week having Luke Jackson was good. With the 170. Butters also, if you had him last week, but this week it was Gorn. And that in these early best 18 rounds, it's kind of just hopefully you have a few premiums that go big. Now your captaincy, of course, and you'll hold rank, or if you go really well, you can make up a bit of ground. But it's so tight still with the ranks that it doesn't really bother me too much, as long as team's in a good spot and you've got a lot of the good money makers, which I think I do. And there's quite a few this year, to be fair. Then I'm pretty happy. So we'll look at the team. Unfortunately, the trades last week, I think hilariously, a lot of us obviously traded Hayden Young. He goes 130. I wasn't, it's funny if he didn't have such a poor game, and obviously he had a bad 2 weeks, I didn't really want to trade him out. I was still pretty happy with the role, but obviously the break even shooting up so much, he was just a trade out ahead of Nick Dacos for me. If that wasn't the case and I could keep Hayden Young, I probably would have still traded Dacos. And whilst he scored 112, Nick, and had a pretty big last quarter, he still has a massive break even this week, and then most likely, if McGuinness is in, getting tagged, and then he obviously still has the bye. So I wish Hayden Young just didn't have that round 2 blunder, because I would have definitely held on to him and probably traded Nick. So look, Nick did score well, but he still has a pretty big break even, 178. So I probably just will have to hold now that I've gone through that. We still think, obviously, he's going to be a top 6 defender and probably still top 2, top 3. Played a bit more half back this week. I didn't actually watch the game. I was at a wedding, but that's predominantly where he played. So that's, I think, a bit better for his scoring. And then the other ones, we got Riley Bonner, hilarious. So, was really not really keen, I'd say, but keen enough on starting him and got rid of him just before round 1. He turns up, and then bit of the FOMO, get him in for round 2. He has an absolute stinker, trade him out, and then he goes and turns up this week. So just classic SuperCoach there. And then, I got him Butters this week with sort of spare money, and he only dropped a 98. I got in Tom Powell, which I'm happy with, and then Massimo, which could have scored a bit more, but we're still happy having Massimo. I think obviously a bit of a wet game didn't help him. In the last, I was watching him in the last quarter, and he was just playing sort of deep defender on Stengel, and the ball didn't get down there too much. And then when it was around for some easy touches, he was just sort of still manning him up as like the deepest defender, because Stengel was sort of sitting right up forward even when the ball was down the other end. So it was he just wasn't near it in the last quarter, which was a bit frustrating. But I think still, Massimo would be happy to field most weeks. Still got a lot of money to make. And then Tom Powell, I honestly think, has potential to be a keeper. So, happy I went with him. He rose a lot of money this week, obviously with a very low break even. So, look, the team's still in a good spot. I think, we get obviously Green back this week. Dempsey, really happy I started him now. He's going to make a lot of money for us. And then as far as anything else, I'm not going to go totally through the team. Zach Williams, we took his 70, which was good in the end over sort of the other Melbourne boys. Didn't score too well this week. Wines is an interesting one. He'll probably make way this week for me. Roberts, McKercher, Sanders, all good again. Happy to have them on field most weeks. We did loot Wilson and Carroll, sorry, and didn't take his 65, so I actually haven't done the calculations. Maybe I would have got an extra 10 points or something. I don't quite know who was my 18th score. Might have been like a Reed or something. So, yeah, maybe we missed a few points there. But other than that, sort of got it optimal this week. VC'd Sarong and took that. So that was nice. A lot of people captain Bont. So got a few points back there. Nothing too major. Yeah, not going to overly go across the whole team. Heaney's been awesome. Who else? Bont, obviously a bit annoying, playing a bit of full forward this week. Obviously, maybe the ankle was bothering him, and they just took a chance against West Coast to not have to put him through too much of a hard game. So, yeah, Sheasel, amazing, good starting pick. Jordan, obviously, probably would have liked a bit more. Billings, of course, pretty disappointing, and will probably be traded out by a lot of people this week, including me. But yeah, nothing too major to talk about. Other than that stuff, obviously the big talking point is I just don't have Max Gawn. So, Rowan was deplorable. I didn't actually watch that game either, but 14 clangers, you just got to imagine he was pretty piss poor in that one, which is just disappointing. I think he still had 117 Dream Team, which is, just an awful game from him. So, look, I'm still happy to keep Rowan. Obviously, his break-even's shot up now, but I still think he has quite a good run coming up. Should do pretty well this week against the Tigers on a small ground, you'd think. He's just got to get a few clangers out of his game. He can have those games time to time, but 14 is just an absolute abnormal number. So yeah, look, I think at this point you probably want Gawn, and then if you're projecting forward who the top two rucks would be. It'd be probably Max if he's able to get through the season, and then look, I guess it still could be English, but his ruck time is down a bit, which maybe hurts his ceiling. So it's probably Max and then one of English or Rowan. And at this point, English is still pretty expensive, I think. So he obviously dropped a little bit of cash this week, but I think so he's down to 700 and his break even is 140. So maybe he drops. I mean, you'd think he drops a bit more, but we'll see what happens this week against the Cats. Whether Stanley plays or Conway, we're not really too sure. So, this week I think with this 150k in the bank, I mean, first of all, Billings, I think what's his break even got to? It's 64. So, yeah, bit of a failed trade in the end, which is annoying. But there's not too much you can do. Just move the team over there for now. So he's got to go, and then I think with the rookie I don't have that's on the bubble that you want to bring in is Sam Darcy. Hugely negative break even. Obviously has that ton from the first game, which only really counts for this first priced rise that's going to happen. So provided he's picked, a few people saying maybe Lobb comes back because he kicked a few goals in the VFL. Yeah, but Darcy's done the same thing for ages. He's just really been knocking the door down for quite a while. He's just had to get through some injury problems. I think if they're serious, they'll want to be playing Darcy this season to get him some experience. He's got a lot of talent, and he didn't score too well against West Coast, a lot of 50 or something. I don't care. Anyway, I think he'll be picked this week anyway. He can come into the team, and then we'll look what we can do with the money. And I think just the most obvious thing is to Wines. Obviously, I wish he was someone like a Jack Steele. Isn't the case. His mid-time's still good. I know people will look at the CBAs, but 80% of the time he spends on the ground is still in the guts. It's just his tog is really, really low. They're trying to accommodate, Willem Drew's in there now playing some tagging roles. It's not as good as we'd like, and he's probably just going to average around that 95 to 100. And a spike game could come. Probably the way it's going, it'll come this week. If I trade him out against Essendon, probably put out a 120, 130 and maybe kickstart a little bit of cash jam. But at the same time, I just think he's taken up a spot that isn't really too needed. So I think it's pretty clear what I should do here and just get Max Gawn ahead of, he's gone 177 now. I know he has a bye well, he's got 2 more games and then a bye. I don't really care at this point. I should have had Gawn and Marshall from the start, which is what I wanted, but Grundy posting that 130 in round 0 made me go there, and obviously I took the wrong ruckman out. I maybe just decided I'll bet against Gawney with his age, go with Rowan, and then see what happens from there. And it's just, bit me in the arse. You can see the averages right beside each other. So yeah, Max has been unreal. I think he's got like a 60 break even this week. Click on the wrong player. 78. So look, he'll go up a little bit more, I'd imagine, in a couple of games until he's bye. He went 200 on Brisbane last year. So yeah, we'll get Max. It doesn't actually spend, and I think I get more cash in the bank than what I actually started before trades with. So we can keep that for next week, and I think my plan would be to get a Jordan after the last game before his bye up to a Flanders. We really need to get Flanders in pretty soon. They have GWS this week, so maybe it's not the worst thing holding off one more week. 528k with a 73 break even, so like I probably expect him to beat that break even and get a little bit more expensive. Let's say he goes 80, 90, maybe 100. He's probably going to be around that 540 mark, something like that. So it's not quite enough to get Jordan up to him in one trade. Jordan would have to score 150, and in that case, you'd probably be keeping him. So yeah, that's not going to happen. So I've got to just sort of pick who the rookie downgrade would be next week, and I'd probably need about 40k or something like that to get there. And it might be a tough choice. We'll see. Whether maybe it's a Wilson down to a 123k rookie that pops up. Maybe it's Carroll if the following week Walsh is back. Carroll gets to 200 and something k, and we go down from there. I'll have to see. But I think that's probably what my plan is to get Jordan up to Flanders. And then we probably sit for another week unless there's a must-have rookie, and then post the round 6, round 7 after early buys are done. We'll get some DPP so we can move some players back. That's when we'll start seeing what we can do as far as upgrades. So, look, got to cave and get Maxi in before he gets too expensive. Rowan will have to just keep an eye on. Hopefully he can sort of reset his break even and not fall too much in price. I still believe he could score very well. I just obviously played an absolute stinker on the weekend. So, there's not really, I guess maybe the main rookie we're missing is maybe like a Sharp, but, it was hard to start him over a Wilson, hard to start him over a Clark, who's got like a mid-time role. Same with Carroll. Cadman, we're obviously happy with. He's got more money to make. Dempsey as well. Sexton, I guess you could say, is a bit disappointing, but he still made 50k last week. And if he's back playing in defence, that's totally fine. So I guess maybe just like had him over an extra midfielder that I had or something like that. But again, I'm not too upset with how the team looks at this point. Maybe what main players are missing, maybe Luke Ryan, if he keeps popping off, is going to be hard to stomach. I guess we can look at it. And we'll maybe go something like top 10% just to have a quick look. If this website would load. So the main players we're sort of missing. As you can see, Sam Darcy most traded in, Billings most traded out. So that's going to be quite a common trade, and I can definitely get behind that. Jordan, I'd like to hold on to him for one more week if you did. So a few people still holding Grundy. They'll probably have him one more week against West Coast and then see what happens there. Other than him, I guess Flanders for another week until I grab him. Sharp, as I said, probably one rookie that's going to make some decent money that I'll miss. And then Steele's actually quite highly owned in the top 10%, which makes sense. He's gone quite well at a cheaper price, so that's been good for people. Took as well, who's just coming off his bye. Luke Ryan. Nick Martin, he obviously had a really good game this week. Got a lot of touches. I didn't watch the game, so I don't know truly how good he was, but if you have 40 plus, hopefully he's going to score well. And then Matty Crouch as well, being a pretty decent pick. So there's not too many I'm overly concerned with. We can look at Nick Martin once he gets DPP and see if we're actually into him as a season-long keeper. Luke Ryan, I'm not going to be trading in for this sort of price now at this point. So hopefully he doesn't go too nuclear. Took, he'll probably continue to rise, I think. What's his break even? 76. So probably just bet against Took at this point and go for other mids. He has a bit of a soft tissue injury to his knee last year. I know he's over that now, but maybe a bit of scarring from me. I captained him in that round. So we'll leave Took for now. Still, I'll definitely still look at. He's still cheap enough, and even after this week, he might be still cheap enough to have a look at in the future, but been a really good starting pick for those that did. And other than that, I'm not too upset, I think it looks pretty good. I got a lot of the good money makers, and just got to start making some better trades. Already down 2 boosts, so really won't be looking to use any of them until sort of upgrade season, after the early buys and accelerate that. And then I guess Jackson's the other one we've got to have to keep a look at in our team. I think most likely scenario is that Shrek's back in round 6 against West Coast. So Jackson should get the next couple of games against Carlton, and I think it's Port to solo ruck. Hopefully it goes well. All going well, should be around 600k, and then I'll probably, if Shrek even is back for that West Coast game, I'll have a look at it. We'll see what happens. He still has a chance to score pretty well, even if he's playing a bit more forward time. And then we'll make probably our decision after then, whether we just flip him to a mid-premium who's fallen, or it's going to be weird this season with the forwards. Once I get Flanders in next week, it's, still a couple of rookies on field. Who is actually going to fill out our forward line is a big question. Maybe Sanders, if he gets TPP, can sit down there for a while. Dempsey, I'm happy to field for quite a while as well. So, that might be my forward line until the absolute last upgrades, and we just take a punt on some guys, I don't know, key forward if you like, Shea Bolton, something like that. Maybe let's have a quick look what the forward line looks like, and then we'll sign off. But yeah, it's a weird season. There's not looking like many DPPs premium wise, and it's just all the players that are probably relevant will have after we're getting Flanders next week in the forward line. So, and I know a few people would have got Harry Mackay last week, which has gone well thus far, and we'll see how he goes going forward. It'd be nice if this worked. Get the forwards there. So, you can see Harry Mackay in there. Hogan's still in there for average. Max King. Tom Powell's sitting there at 7th. Zorko, people will probably be asking about. I don't want to touch him at his age. He's sort of already 500k. Just a big-time injury risk. And then it's just, a lot more pure forwards like Papley, small forward, Kerno, Dixon, tall forwards. The Nibbler is someone that could be actually not too bad this season, but, not someone you're ever really going to think about trading in. So, Ben Miller is bloody 16th on average. So, bizarre year. Bakes, actually, as we scroll down, I know he's just got a week, which I think Richmond are challenging. But if he actually does keep a bit more of his mid-roll, will be someone we look at, and I'll probably look at later on. And has some depth forward status, which isn't too bad as well. So, thanks for watching, guys. I think my team's in a pretty decent spot. Obviously, some points missed with Gawn early. I think, round 150, 160, and obviously having to pay a bit more of a price for him now. But having Jackson to still cover him in that buy round is nice. We've got a lot of the good midfielders that have started well this year, and maybe in defence, probably just Luke Ryan, I guess. Hopefully doesn't go too crazy for now, and we'll see what happens down there. But a few mid-premiums are falling in price. We'll see who we like and want to target going forward. But I think, we'll see hopefully how a couple of these rookies go. Clark actually had a decent score this week, which is nice. Wilson halted his cash gen a bit, so we'll have to monitor him, and obviously still got Zach Reid to deal with, and he might not be too many weeks away of coming back, so it just depends. I know there's Brown and Draper on the bubble this week. I'm not going to boost to grab one of those and make that switch, especially since I've already used 2, so we'll roll with this for this week. Probably look at Flanders next week, as I said, from Jordan, and then hopefully sit until upgrade season and see who we can purchase. So thanks for watching, guys. Hope you went well this week, and we'll see you on the next one. Cheers. Pulling out the coupe at the lot.